Hi, I'm Dr. Terry at the Himalayan Institute for our Wellness Wednesday. And it's the full moon of July, so happy Guru Purnam. I'm going to talk today about balance boosters. So at first, I want to look at balance as in the really big picture, a very expansive view, and then we'll get down to granularity of balance of our physical body. And then we'll do a brief but powerful practice. So when we think about balance, or a word with so many meanings and so broad as balance, I like to just think of the definition. So one definition of balance is a condition where you're steady and stable. And another definition of balance is a state where things are of equal or proper amounts. So keeping those two things in mind, you can think of a lot of areas in life where balance is important. For instance, there's a work-life balance, which is very important and very relevant. But also when we think about our food, we want our diet, our nutrition to be healthy, but if we get too restrictive, that can be a problem. So we want to find balance there. Same with movement or exercise. We want to be moving, but we don't want to be depleted. Even when it comes to how our body maintains itself, we do things that cleanse our body, but we want to balance that with nourishment. And then even getting further into our body, in our nervous system, we have the sympathetic nervous system, which is our stress response, and its pair, the parasympathetic, which is our rest and digest response. And we want to find balance there. That's a way to manage or master our stress. So looking at balance from that way, sometimes we can embody that by just working physically with our body and letting that balance ripple out into those other aspects. So when we think about physical balance of our body, what actually does that mean? Well, it means that we stay upright or stable when we're standing or moving around. It leads to higher performance in the things that we do because it reduces injuries and falls. So if you have a greater sense of balance, you may be able to climb things or move in a quicker way, which enhances your performance. And balance is very complex in our body. We use many different parts of our anatomy. We use sensation, both feeling the textures we're on and feeling where our body is in space. The second is called proprioception. We use our vision, and we use our strength, the strength of our muscles. So when you tie all that together, we have healthy balance. So balance in regards to yoga is a really interesting thing because yoga, the practice of the asana component of yoga, really intertwines strengthening, flexibility, and balance work to help maintain our equilibrium. And then that equilibrium in our body can ripple out to equilibrium in our minds and emotions. So I want to talk about how to do a balance exercise. So first thing, in any type of exercise, stretching, strengthening, or balance, it can be done statically. A static balance pose would be to just stand on one leg while not moving. But it also can be done dynamically in motion. And a lot of times when we're asking our balance to help us, it's when we're moving. So if you've ever been walking along a path and there was an uneven part of the sidewalk or a root from a tree and your toe caught and you tripped, but you righted yourself and no fall, that was your balance in action and evidence of how your balance works. So we want to think about ways to help our balance in a dynamic or movement way, as well as doing single limb poses like tree or warrior three, or things where we're in one position and not moving. So the practice I want to share with you today comes from a book that was a compilation of exercises from Swami Rama, the founder of the Institute, called Exercises for Joints and Glands. And it's the leg swing. And you may have done this if you've ever been here to the Institute in yoga classes. It's very popular. And I was just teaching a class over the weekend and a movement class over the weekend. And I let people know that's one of my favorite exercises. Now, it wasn't always one of my favorite exercises because it's challenging. But I noticed that when I do it regularly, I can tell that my balance is better. I can do more repetitions without tipping over. So I think of it as my balance gauge or my balance meter, and I kind of see where I'm at in any particular day. But the reason why I love it so much is because, yes, it works on my balance, but it works on flexibility of the leg that I'm swinging. And most importantly, it works on strength of the leg that I'm standing on. So if you want to join me, clear a little space. And first things first, when we're challenging our balance, I like to have a little support handy. I may not use it, but it's there because in hopes to improve my balance, I don't want to cause an injury, twist an ankle or something like that. So when I'm checking it out, I like a little prop. And then if you don't need it, that's great. But if you do need it, it's handy. So think about the wall, a counter, the chair, a table, if you're new to this exercise. So leg swings brings together both the upper extremity and lower extremity motion in a reciprocal pattern to help with balance. So you start out with bringing one leg forward and the opposite hand, and then you just swing back and forth. Now, if this is good, you might want to just count how many you're doing. So on a good day, I can do 10, 20, 30. Some days I can do less than 10, and I know my balance is off that day. Now, if this is challenging, you can just bring your toe forward and back, like you're doing a little dance. And that also is equally helpful until the swinging motion becomes more comfortable. Now, always we want to do the other side, and that brings up a really good point. For most people, including me, one side is easier to do the balance exercise on, usually due to strength in the hip. Because when I bring one leg up, in order for my leg to stay up, these muscles over here are working to prevent it from tipping. So if I know personally, this side's a little bit weak. I do a little bit more work on this side to help balance for that. So same thing, we'll do it on the other side with the support if you'd like. You can still get this arm in the game with the toe forward, back, like you're doing a little dance. Now that exercise that we just did is strengthening the leg standing on, but it's also stretching the muscles in the back of the leg when I bring the leg forward, and the muscles, mainly the psoas and the hip flexors, when I bring the leg back. And again, that's a stretch in a dynamic fashion. Now, we also have other hip muscles. So if you're game, we can do the same motion in a sideways fashion. So standing on one leg, you bring your leg out and arm out, leg in, arms in, like this. This also looks like a little dance. And you can do the same thing I said, touch out, touch in, touch out, touch in, so you can get the pattern in your body before you're ready to test it out with having the arms go out in space. I'm not doing it the other way because I have a chair here. So I just want to recap that looking at our physical balance helps us on levels of performance and injury prevention, but it ripples out to add more balance in our life, more equanimity, more ability to bounce back and stay present. So I hope you enjoyed this Wellness Wednesday, and join us in 2 weeks for next Wellness Wednesday. Thank you.